The road so far at Atlanta has been paved with muddy Georgia clay.
Wow!
A track built for greatness has thus far led the best in the world to a carnival of carnage.
Fire, get out.
12 superstars arrived to the Empire City of the South with their sights set on the dawning of a new day in Monster Jam.
Awesome job, dude.
And after 2 rounds of nature's wrath, a new star was made as the kid conquered all. This is round 19. This is Atlanta. This is Monster Jam.
Nice air. And he saves it. There is your wow factor. Big air out of the box. Awesome move, look at that.
Welcome to one of the fastest tracks in the world, Atlanta Motor Speedway, just south of Atlanta, Georgia. And after 2 unpredictable rounds soaked with rain, the sun finally shines through on this historic track. I'm Scott Jordan alongside Colt Stevens. Welcome to Monster Jam, and we can finally say it is a beautiful day for racing here in Atlanta. The weather is perfect. The track's still a little beat up, but the biggest story coming out of last round and into this afternoon, 20-year-old Zach Garner's performance in round 18. Colt, he won his first ever event championship and only his second stadium event. Unbelievable.
Scott, that is unheard of. I'm very impressed with Zach Garner. He's out there with the big dog, showing him he deserves to be here. He's been very consistent. That's unheard of for a new driver like Zach. Being his only second event with Monster Jam, that's absolutely crazy. Great job by Zach Garner.
You're absolutely right, Colt. Zach has been very consistent through the last 2 rounds, and he's going to need to be if he wants to go back-to-back against his stacked lineup. 24 World Finals championships represented here today. And now looking at the driver lineup, Colt, who takes home the championship?
You know, Scott, I hate to beat a dead horse, but Ryan Anderson, he was so fast in racing, pretty consistent in 2-wheel. Unfortunately, he had some transmission issues in freestyle that cost him that. So I'm going to have to say, if he can keep it together, keep the truck together, and repeat what he did in the last event, Ryan Anderson is going to come away with the win.
Yeah, I think Ryan Anderson, Colt, is poised to have another big day. He had the racing lanes locked down in the last round. Todd LeDuc also made some adjustments and got to the finals of racing, but do other drivers follow the lead and mimic their styles?
I think they're going to have to. Either they're going to have to mimic what Ryan and Todd are doing, or they're going to have to find another way to get past that jammer. We see that jammer seems to be the key. If you can get over that fast, get your tires back to the ground, you're going to come away with a win.
Well, whoever's going to win, they're going to have to go through the kid from Fortville, Indiana, and maybe at this point he's the king of Fortville, Indiana. And for more about the round 18 champion, let's head down to the track with our pit reporter Leslie Mears and this UNOH pit report.
So 1 day ago, you picked up your first overall event championship. So is the feeling still there, or has it kind of worn off after last night?
The feeling is definitely still there. You know, I had to brag to my dad a little bit last night that I kind of beat him to getting one here in a stadium event, but honestly, I'm still ecstatic about it, and I'm so ready to just come out here and have even more fun tonight.
So with a track this fast, and you've got so many things that you can hit, you know, how are you planning your freestyle and trying to back up and get those overall points that you need?
Honestly, I'm just going to plan the first hit and maybe a backflip. Other than that, I'm just going to go out here, have some fun, and probably wing it.
Guys, the energy is still rolling off of him.
Thank you, Leslie. He did wing it. He winged it all the way to the championship in round 18. Right now, let's take a look at the Monster Jam Steel Titans 2 video game event breakdown. Our drivers will compete in 3 competitions: Monster Energy Racing, the Great Clip Skills Challenge, and Bkt Monster Jam Freestyle. 12 points will be awarded to the winner of each competition, with a total of 36 points on the line, and the driver with the most points at the end of the day will be crowned the overall event champion. This is Track Talk now, presented by Great Clips. Colt, the weather here obviously much better this afternoon, but is it a case of too little too late? I mean, the track was beat up with 2 rounds of action, 12 Monster Jam trucks, all the crazy weather, or is the weather actually going to dry it out a little bit?
I'm hoping the weather will dry it out, but the drivers are going to have to be aware of that. They're going to have to pay attention, watch that race lane, especially because with the slickness, they were able to hold it wide open going down the straightaways, but they're going to have to be careful about that, because if they do that here and it does tack up with this Georgia clay, they potentially could break axles because they're spinning so fast and come to an abrupt stop. So they're gonna have to be aware of that, as well as in freestyle. I could see the potential of ruts forming. I know we have a big track here, 1,600 feet, but we still could get some ruts, and if they hit those in the wrong way, they could end up on their lid early.
Here's today's Monster Energy Racing bracket. In round one, it's going to be John Gordon in Bad Company against his good friend Ryan Anderson in Bakugan Dragonoid. Great Clips Mohawk Warrior up against Wildside Avenger versus Monster Mutt Dalmatian Galaxy, and Max D versus Rage. The first round buys going to Gravedigger, Zombie, Monster Energy, and Megalodon. Code 4 getting first round buys, 4 first round matchups. What matchup are you most looking forward to seeing today?
I love this whole bracket, Scott. What I like most about it is we got two of the fastest guys on the opposite side of the bracket. We got Todd LeDuc on one side and we got Ryan Anderson on the other. So we could have a repeat of the two fastest guys on the track in the final round.
As John Gordon and Ryan Anderson pulled a line, a lot of history here between these two very good friends.
Not good, Scott. I see John pulling away already. It looks like he's having more of the hometown curse.
So Drive Shaft going to knock Bad Company out of round one. Ryan Anderson will go unopposed here in racing. All he has to do is cross the finish line to advance into round two, and he's had no problems doing that. Up next in round one, Bryce Kenny, Grey Clips Mohawk Warrior in the left lane. In the right lane, round 18's overall event champion. Been talking about him all show today. Zach Garner gets a big test here in round one.
Both trucks are spinning bad off the line.
Up to the jammer they go, braking for Bryce, gets some air. Zach goes way up on the front end. And he is pushing it, but that was the difference. That jammer, Zach Garner, the nose of that truck went way up.
I thought for sure Zach had him there, but it seems like Bryce's technique of actually jumping over the jammer worked out for him.
Our next pair here in round one, Jim Kohler and Avenger, Lindsey Reed, Monster Mutt Dalmatian Galaxy. Jim 2-0 this season against Lindsey, but so far this weekend, Lindsey has been one of the most consistent drivers on this track.
I have a little tech talk here for you, Scott. I heard earlier Jim talking about he's running on 7 cylinders right now. Usually these trucks have 8 cylinders, 8 pistons. One is down, it's not working, so he's going to be limited on power. But that being said, on a slick track, that's actually an advantage. Too much power just makes you spin out.
Lindsey Reed got a heck of a start, so did Jim Kohler. He slows down, gets low, she goes sky wheelie off the jammer. Kohler going to take full advantage of this. Before our next matchup, let's head downstairs and check in with Leslie Mears.
Guys, Tom learned a lesson one day ago in racing that he's bringing into today. He said, you can't lift until you get to that jammer. So today he's gonna work on breaking up a little bit sooner so he can square up to that jammer and roll on out to the finish.
Thank you, Leslie. Our final matchup here in round one, Tom Mentz, Max D, Corey Rummel in Rage. Tom has not lost to Corey yet this year.
Spinning hard off the line.
Yeah, Corey spun a little sideways. Tom maintained that center position. Corey, all kinds of problems going over the jammer.
That pop-up does not work.
And Tom Mentz maintains that center lane. He never moved from that spot. Great control there from the 12-time World Finals champion.
Corey comes into the jammer. He just pops that front end up too much. He has to check up too much, and that completely lost the race for him.
Let's take a look at the bracket now. Moving into round two, Gravedigger against Bakugan Dragonoid. That's brother versus sister, Anderson versus Anderson, and Ryan even unopposed with the fastest time in round one. Zombie up against Grey Clips Mohawk Warrior, Monster Energy versus Avenger, and then Megalodon versus Max D, Anderson versus Mentz. Great matchup there as well. Round one is finished, and in round two, 4 more drivers will enter the bracket next on Monster Jam. Welcome to round 19 of Monster Jam in Atlanta. John Gordon's Bad Company out, didn't even get to race today. He had to leave the bracket after a round one win in round 17, and now Colt, they are changing the entire truck out.
This is the first time I've ever seen anything like this, Scott. I know previous this season I heard Bryce Kenny got a new chassis for another event, but this is the first time I've ever seen somebody switch trucks in the middle of a show.
We'll keep an eye on John as he tries to come back for the Great Clip Skills Challenge in a brand new chassis. As we continue in the racing bracket, round two, our first look today at Gravedigger's Kristen Anderson. She goes up against her brother Ryan. Kristen has 1 win over her brother Ryan so far this year. Ryan 2-1 against her though, so he does have the advantage.
Ryan is having trouble firing his truck. It's weird to me, Scott, as we see the batteries die a lot in like Chicago style or St. Louis style racing because you use a rear steer, and the rear steer uses so much juice. But here on the Speedway track, we're going in a straight line, so I wonder what is draining his batteries.
Ryan Anderson needed a little help getting fired up. He got a jump, and he is fired up now and ready to go. So he will now face off against his sister.
Oh, big time spinning for Ryan off the line.
Yeah, great start for Kristen, though. She hits the jammer first. Ryan goes off to the right side.
Pretty good on the jammer there. It's close.
It is a photo finish.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Let's go to the super glue, glued to the action replay on this finish.
Ryan could not get up the line, and that lane seems super wet. He checks up there. The truck side slides sideways. He was able to gather it up, though, and just barely edge out his sister.
Next up in round 2, Bari, Musa and Zombie against Bryce Kenny and Great Clips Mohawk Warrior. They met 5 times this season. Bari has won 3, and now he has chosen the right lane. Look at the spin out for Bryce Kenny. Backside goes off. And now Zombie hits the jammer. Bryce over as well.
Bari just went a little bit too vertical on that one.
And that's going to be the difference. Great Clips Mohawk Warrior. Moving on, let's take a look at the super glue glued to the action replay.
As you see here, Bari comes up to the jammer and he just pops a wheelie where Bryce was able to get the front end down and get the tires back to the track and create traction and speed and go across the finish line first.
Moving over now to the other side of the bracket in Monster Energy Racing, Todd LeDuc in Monster Energy going up against 2-time World Finals Freestyle champion Jim Kohler in Avenger. Todd gets a great jump off the starting line. But Jim gets to the jammer first, and he is over it. He gets up on 2 wheels.
Holy cow!
Oh, that is another tight finish across the chalk. Let's go to the replay. Both with great jumps. Kohler gets to the jammer first.
You don't even know that Jim is running on 7 cylinders out there. So fast, he's just not quite fast enough to beat Todd.
So Todd LeDuc moving on to the semifinals, and he will meet the winner of our final second-round matchup. It is Adam Anderson and Megalodon, a 5-time World Finals champion, up against Tom Meents in Max D, a 12-time World Finals champion. Tom has a racing competition win already in Atlanta. We'd love to make it 2 for him here, but he has not beaten Adam Anderson yet this year. They get off, single jump, jammer jump now.
And it's a close one, Scott.
Tom Meents just climbs over it. Little effort, but Adam accelerates across the race ramp. We got to go to the replay again on this finish.
And this is some close racing. Both of them get off the line pretty good. Adam comes across, checks up just a little bit more air than Max D, and that's definitely going to be the disadvantage. Max D puts down a fast time in that lane.
Let's take a look now at the semifinals here for Monster Energy Racing. Ryan Anderson against Bryce Kenny. Todd LeDuc against Tom Meents. 4 heavyweights when it comes to Monster Jam and Monster Energy Racing. And before we get to the semifinals, let's check back in with our pit reporter, Leslie Mears. Leslie.
Guys, I really think it's Bryce Kenny's reflection that is helping him out so much today. He told me that normally smooth is fast, but that doesn't work in these type of conditions because nothing is smooth. And he said normally you go out there and try to be too careful, but you can't do that. You've got to go 100% all the time and react and adapt.
I really like that. I agree with Bryce. This kind of track right here, you got to put the pedal to the metal and let the good times roll.
First matchup ready to go in the semifinal round. In the left lane, Ryan Anderson and Bakugan Dragonoid. In the right lane, Bryce Kenny, Great Clips Mohawk Warrior. This one is going to be an incredible way to start our semifinal round.
Uh-oh, seems like something's wrong with Ryan's truck when he left the line. It kind of shifted weird.
Yeah, but Bryce's front left tire went way up in the air, and he is all kinds of wobbly on the track. He goes to the right, then to the left, and he can't get center, so Ryan Anderson will win it and head to our Monster Energy Racing finals. We continue with the semifinal round in Monster Energy Racing. It's going to be 2-time World Finals champion Todd LeDuc in the left, and then 12-time World Finals champion Tom Meents in Max D in the right. Last round, Tom did have the fastest time of the day prior to that point, so Todd has his work cut out for him, and Tom Meents has chosen the right lane. We saw Todd 1 round to go successful on both sides of the track. And we are off again. Tom Meents completely in the center of that race lane. The mud not a factor.
Getting a little crooked over that jammer.
We got a showdown to the finish. Tom Meents tries to fly, but Todd LeDuc getting it done. What a race.
Tom Meents just was sliding around too much coming up to that jammer, and he wasn't able to recover fast enough.
Let's take a look at our final matchup. Ryan Anderson, Bakugan Dragonoid, Todd LeDuc, Monster Energy. These two know each other very well. You know, there's been some talk going on between them all weekend long. Who you got in our final matchup?
Man, that's a hard one, but I think I'm going to have to go with Todd LeDuc because he has lane choice in this situation. He has a faster time than Ryan right now, so hopefully he knows which lane's faster and he chooses the correct one.
The driver's seat to the overall event championship is wide open as the first 12 points of the day are on the line with the Monster Energy Racing Finals next. Welcome to Atlanta Motor Speedway as we get ready for the exciting conclusion of our first competition. These are the Monster Energy Racing Finals, and it's LeDuc versus Anderson. Now, this is the 8th meeting of these two in 2021, and Ryan Anderson has won 5 of the 7 so far this year.
These two feel the pressure when it comes to racing each other. Neither one of them wants to lose.
This is a rematch of the racing finals in round 18. Ryan Anderson won that matchup. He did have lane choice there, so Todd, as you mentioned, lane choice here, and we are off and running.
Well, both of them, great job over the jammer, but Ryan seems to be a little bit faster.
Todd went higher, but he's accelerating, and Ryan Anderson has the win.
Look how he comes over this jammer. He checks up, he hit the brakes, drug the rear tires over the ramp. Perfect execution of getting over that jammer by Ryan Anderson.
Now, Ryan Anderson has now won 7 consecutive races here at Atlanta Motor Speedway, so not a factor at all when it comes to the mud on that track. Let's take a look at the Bkt overall event leaderboard now after Monster Energy Racing. Ryan Anderson getting 12 points with the win. Todd LeDuc 11, Tom Mintz with 10, Bryce Kenny with 9, and Adam Anderson with 8 points. And that's our first Bkt top 5 of the day. Right now, let's go down to winner's circle. Leslie Mears with our racing winner, Ryan Anderson.
Ryan, you faced a lot of adversity during that racing competition, having to head to the pits after round 2 and then the jump box in round 1. So how were you able to overcome that?
It was definitely crazy. It was a curveball, to say the least. We were worried about the transmission. We had transmission issues as we lined up for intros. We weren't sure. We made some adjustments, and luckily that cured that. But we had no idea we were having battery issues, connection issues. All that weather, all that stuff is not good for electrical connections. So every time I went to the line, I had to get jump-started. So it was crazy for me. It's very hectic, and it's hard for me to keep my calm when that's going on, especially with the size of this track. It's hard for our crew guys to work together, communicate, all those things. So it's a lot of stuff that we've never faced before. And this track has given it to us, but we're loving it still.
All right, thank you, Leslie. After an intense racing competition, it was time for the Great Clip Skills Challenge. Each driver had the option to attempt 2 technical maneuvers on 2 wheels or a donut. Competitors attempted a variety of moves and combinations and were judged based on creativity, skill, and execution. 12 points were on the line towards today's overall event championship, so let's take a quick look back at our top competitors. Adam Anderson coming in hot with the Sharknado donut, getting it done. He would finish in 3rd place.
Look at that, 2 wheels up in the air as he's spinning.
And then Todd LeDuc, modified LeDuc leap, bounces off, huge bounce. That would get him 2nd place, and then straight up on the back 2 tires.
Perfectly balancing it on the edge.
Finally, Ryan Anderson doing it again. Slap Wheelie City, dragging the tail, no pun intended there. He would win the Great Clip Skills Challenge. Ryan Anderson showing off his technical prowess. We can now take a look at the overall event leaderboard after 2 competitions. Ryan doubling down with racing and skills. He has 24 points. Todd LeDuc right behind him with 22. Adam Anderson 18, Bryce Kenny 17, and Tom Mintz 16. That is our overall event leaderboard heading into Bkt Freestyle. After his big win in the Great Clip Skills Challenge, Leslie Mears caught up with Ryan Anderson.
When I saw you this morning, Ryan, you were really bummed because you felt like you just really didn't have your momentum, but it seems like it's back now.
The mud shows are kind of where I basically kind of think in my head, like, I can't do bad here. Like, I have to do good. This is where I came from. This is where Gravedigger came from, right out of the mud. So when the mud is on the floor, the Andersons shine normally, and I just haven't really been able to get in the groove until today. I'm feeling good. I'm happy. I'm in that rut that I want to be in. And you know I'm a mud racer. You got to follow that rut just right, and I fell in that spot. Now it's freestyle time.
Sounds like he's in the groove to have the possibility to take it all today, guys.
He most very well could, and we're going to get you ready for the second half of the event with our official halftime report next on Monster Jam. Everyone in Monster Jam is proud to be partners with St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Become a partner in hope and receive a custom St. Jude and Monster Jam We Won't Stop t-shirt. Text Monster Jam to 785-833 or visit stjude.org/Monster Jam to learn more. We're in Atlanta with round 19 of Monster Jam action. I'm Scott Jordan along with Cole Stevens, and Ryan Anderson has doubled down, winning Monster Energy Racing and the Great Clip Skills Challenge. And Cole, all this guy does is win everything. Going back, he won the Stadium Championship Series, 2 World Finals championships. Today, he won his second competition of an event for the 4th time. Nobody's even touched that number. So the question is, has Ryan overtaken Adam as the most dominant Anderson in Monster Jam?
Well, that's a hard one to say, Scott, but I can say Ryan has definitely brought the most technical aspects to Monster Jam, and he can pull them off almost any time he wants in any conditions, including muddy conditions like this. So if Ryan can continue to do that, he's going to continue to dominate Monster Jam.
And on the other side of that, with all the winning we've seen from guys like Ryan Anderson and Tom Meents, a driver who's seemingly been in the hunt at almost every event is Bryce Kenny, but he consistently keeps falling short, and freestyle, I believe, has been his kryptonite. So at what point in time, if you're Bryce Kenny, we know he's very competitive, but is there just a point where you see Ryan and Tom and all these other guys winning, just throw your hands up and say, okay, I'm done, I can't do it?
You know, Bryce is kind of getting in his head a little bit. You know, he goes out there, he has a decent run in the beginning, but this freestyle doesn't come together, and I think he's thinking about it just a little bit too much. He needs to go have fun. Just go out there and let the truck do its thing, him do his thing, enjoy it, go out there and just do it.
All right, right now, let's hear from the leader of Mohawk Nation. Bryce Kenny's with Leslie Mears for this UNOH Halftime Pit Report.
Bryce, you told me earlier that it's all about momentum and going 100%. So when the dirt is really sticky like this and it just kind of sticks to everything, how do you find that groove, and what do you do to get in the groove?
Well, I think that anytime that you're out here at Monster Jam, you're trying to conquer the truck, right? You're trying to conquer the track. But one of the things that I've noticed this weekend, when you've got a lot of the veterans that have been doing this probably for enough times, had enough speedways under their belt, they know how to come out here and still entertain the fans to get those good scores because they're doing something that the rest of the trucks aren't doing. And today I just want to come out here. Yeah, I want to dominate the truck. I want to make sure that I conquer the truck, and I'm in total control, I guess if you could say, controlled chaos. But at the end of the day, I need to do something that the fans maybe aren't ready for, weren't thinking that we were going to come out there and do, so that we can give them that wow moment. Because, man, I want a good freestyle score today, but all I can do is go out there, leave it all on the track. That's what we're going to do here in Atlanta.
Yeah, and guys, he's got a little bit later position, so the track might be a little dried out from those other trucks running.
Thank you, Leslie. Fans at Monster Jam events get to see a lot of action from the drivers on the track and even get a peek at some of the most critical moments in the pits. And Cole, it's no secret that Monster Jam is the home to some of the best technicians in motorsports, and they are truly the heroes of the sport.
You're absolutely right, Scott. I mean, we couldn't do what we do without those guys and girls. They're the best. I mean, I don't know how they can take a truck that's mangled and tore up the way it is and have it ready to go for an event just a few hours later. So they're 100% the best at what they do.
We're going to peel back the curtain and give you an up-close look at the thrashing magicians of Monster Jam.
Yeah!
Incredible air, about 18 feet.
Oh, he's got a broke housing. That is a lot of metal that has just been mangled right there.
The work of our Monster Jam technicians is simply amazing. The short time frame they can change an engine in under an hour, change a transmission in 15 to 20 minutes, and the quality of work they produce is simply unheard of across motorsports. That's what we call thrashing.
So basically in the thrash, that's where all of our hard work and training comes in. So we'll have anything from an engine, transmission, planetaries, driveline, drive shaft shocks. Whatever the damage is, we basically have to assess it within a couple seconds, figure out what's best route to go to it and get it done.
There's a lot of damage. Those guys are going to have a lot of work ahead of them to get that fixed.
Our crews are crazy fast. They can take an engine and swap it out in 40 minutes. And these guys are getting it out between racing, between skills, and having it back for freestyle to give the fans the show they come to see.
Unbelievable! There is your wow factor.
From the end of the show to the show the next day, the technicians can stay and put a lot of hours in overnight to repair the truck from top to bottom, whether it be a chassis repair or a complete truck swap out, and be ready 110% for the event the next day.
So what we do ain't easy. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of hot parts. Everything's moving really fast and there's no slow time.
Without these Monster Jam technicians putting in the countless hours and working overnight to get these trucks back to 110%, Monster Jam would not be what it is today.
The fans have erupted here in Tampa. Cole, you've been in that role as a technician many times, even on your own truck. So how much pressure are technicians truly under in critical moments in events?
Oh, they're under a tremendous amount of pressure, Scott. We rely on them so that we can go out and do what we do. They know that if they don't do their job, then we can't do ours.
And the crew chiefs will have their work cut out for them as there's one final competition left to determine the event champion. And the action heats up with Bkt Freestyle next on Monster Jam. Welcome to a beautiful afternoon for Monster Jam at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Scott Jordan, Colt Stevens on the call. There aren't a lot of guarantees in Monster Jam, Colt, but one thing I believe that's guaranteed today is that even with really great weather finally setting in, this track is decimated. Are we going to see another slip and slide party, or can we expect better traction?
You know, I think it's still going to be pretty slick out there, Scott. We got a ton of rain here in Atlanta, so track really hasn't had time to dry out. There was no sun on it, really. We're doing an earlier show this afternoon, so I think it's definitely going to be slick, and the drivers are going to have to adjust quickly.
Anything can happen. It's going to be fun, and I'm here for it. It's time for Bkt Freestyle. Up next is Zombies Bari, Musa, and Leslie. You have some information with the leader of Zombie Nation.
Yeah, he said that if you want to have success in freestyle, you've got to be full throttle all the time. But that's very nerve-wracking because it sounds like the truck is going 1,000 miles an hour. And being on the throttle that much, you've got to start worrying about transmissions and engine temperatures as well while trying to give the best freestyle possible.
Thank you, Leslie. Huge air gets the front all the way up, nearly at that 90-degree angle.
That was an aggressive jump there. The truck almost went straight vertical for a second.
Back around, hitting over the bus, back in the right lane.
Another slap wheelie. No, not quite. He couldn't get it done there.
Avoids the race ramp, comes back to the center, hits right over the bus stack. Backflip ramp in front of him, slowing down. He's going to avoid it. Under a minute now for Zombie as Bari Musa whips the truck right back around. Up over the pod we go.
Man, those trucks are spinning. He definitely found a wet section down there. I would try and stay away from that little hole. It's going to be very slick.
And he is stopped with 29 seconds on the clock, 28 now to be exact. He's got it back, so Zombie going now. Over the crush cars. Now he's lined up for the backflip ramp. Bari coming in hot. Monster Energy backflip. Skies it to the side, lands on the right, and he's got one.
That was cool. I love how he's able to go over the car stack and then right into the backflip. Just one move. That was so cool.
And now up over the bus again. Bari Musa, first backflip of the afternoon. Great run, avoided disaster down there. Let's go to the super glue to the action replay.
Backflip absolutely well executed. A little bit crooked on the backflip, but he was able to recover from it and drive away.
Here's Kristen Anderson in Gravedigger. She's going to hit the first jump. She sees there's some big air for Kristen Anderson onto the track.
Yeah, I love. She just committed to that. She wasn't squared up, but she's like, I'm hitting it anyway.
She's on fire down the left side. Now going to the far side of the track. Now here comes these sides of the track. We talked about this side over here on the left lane. The right lane is just as bad. Not as much water, but still a lot of mud over there. But there's a little more asphalt to kind of finagle your way around. And you see she's trying to avoid most of that sludge right there.
Yeah, if I was going to either end of these, I would try and stay on the racetrack. That way I don't get over in that muddy situation where the truck wants to slide. Woo!
There's a wow moment jump. Whoa, she is going to go over. And because of the mud buildup, she could not save it. Sidewall attempt, Kristen Anderson, big wow moment. Let's go to the super glue to the action replay.
She absolutely sent it over that race lane. I don't know if you've ever been in a car when it goes over the railroad tracks and you can feel the butterflies in your stomach. I guarantee you that's what Kristen was feeling right there. That was absolutely huge and aggressive.
This is five-time World Finals champion Adam Anderson in Megalodon.
And I was talking to Adam before this event. He said, You know, Colt, I'm ready to go huge, and he's showing it right there out of the gate.
He just went huge over the bus.
Yeah, buddy, keep on.
More huge air for Adam Anderson. He has got that lane dialed in, and he is going to cross thread right into the middle, so he squares up to the left a little bit and hits over the jump.
You know, that's one thing. When I'm on tour with Adam, we were actually teammates back in 2017, and me and him had this thing where we would go back and forth with who can go bigger, and that's one thing. Adam does not want to be outdone. He wants to be able to send that truck. He is not afraid. He doesn't care if it hurts. He's going to go bigger than anybody out there if he can possibly do that.
That was a stylish turnaround there from Megalodon. Didn't skip a beat. Now sliding on the backside of the grass. You hear the throttle sending it right onto the dirt. Adam Anderson in the groove.
Yeah, I love it.
Jump after jump, and he's going right back to the bus.
I'm not lifting. He's in there just holding it. It's like, I don't care what's in front of me. We're hitting it. It's full throttle. Look at him. He just comes around. He's like car stack going to it. He's eating up all the competition.
And we've seen a lot of drivers having some issues navigating the track. He's literally turning on a dime and hitting whatever he wants.
Experience. Experience. Experience.
Yeah, you never underestimate seat time in Monster Jam.
Uh-oh, I hear some truck issues there. It sounds like it could have shifted to first, but definitely high RPMs, or the transmission is slipping, one of the two.
A whip into a wheelie, and now a skying over the car stack.
He's just running into anything in front of him.
And the back tires are turned, the back wheels are turned and locked up at the moment.
Well, that's a tie rod, so what happened there is he comes into it, the truck catches, lands on the rear. Anytime you land on the rear tires like that, that tie rod can't hold. What the tie rod is, it's a bar that connects the two rear tires together so they stay in the same direction. And when you land hard like that, it'll break, and you just cannot continue on with your run.
It was an exciting freestyle competition, but not everybody brought their A game, so let's take a quick look back at our lower performing trucks. Corey Rummel getting rage, all caught in the mud. He could not make it happen. Jim Kohler, Unkohler-esque in Avenger. Zach Gardner in Wildside, the young newcomer, not having a good day in freestyle. And then Bryce Kenny got over the bus, but that's about all he had. Finally, John Gordon, the hometown curse, coming into play for Bad Company. Let's take a look at our current Bkt Freestyle Top 5. Bari, Musa, and Zombie holding on to that top spot. Adam Anderson and Megalodon second. Kristen Anderson, Gravedigger in third. Lindsey Reed, Monster Mutt, Dalmatian Galaxy in fourth. And John Gordon and Bad Company currently in fifth. A lot of drivers have fun showing off in the mud, and although this track has offered some challenges, there have been some really fun moments.
You know, a lot of us drivers come from playing in the mud as kids, so we're just a big kid out here on a track like this when we have muddy conditions.
From a rainy round 18 here in Atlanta, Adam Anderson taking Megalodon for a dip in the water. That's like a kid on a slip and slide. What do you call that, Colt?
Man, that's a forward momentum donut. We don't see that very often. We don't have a long track like this, but Adam taking advantage of this different track style and absolutely doing a cool move. The fans absolutely love what he's got going on there.
Adam Anderson, Megalodon, a great run in the Great Clip Skills Challenge, sending the Shark in the Monster Energy Action of the Week. Who will join the list of greats as a champion at Atlanta Motor Speedway? Find out when freestyle concludes next on Monster Jam. As we continue with Bkt Freestyle, let's catch you up on the overall event leaderboard coming into this competition. Ryan Anderson at the top with 24, Tyler Duke with 22, Adam Anderson with 18, Bryce Kenny with 17, and Tom Mentz with 16 points. That's our current overall event, Bkt Top 5. Two-time World Finals champion Tyler Duke in Monster Energy next on the track, starting on the far side, the right lane. He hits the bus and now into the single jammer.
So we saw Todd in his skills try and double that jammer the opposite direction he was just going. So I'll be interested to see if he throws that into his freestyle run as well.
He picked up a lot of that water in the center of the track on his tires, slowed him down slightly. Now he's got to go deep around the track to swing it back to the other side. So you lose valuable seconds off the clock on a track like this when you have to turn from one side to the other.
Yeah, one thing I like is that he is still continuing to hit something. I hate whenever a driver gets out there and he kind of drives around and misses obstacles. As long as you got something in front of it, you need to hit it. Checking up.
Now he's going to avoid the crush car, so here we go already early into the run.
Oh, he psyched me out, Scott.
Psych me out, then you psych me out, so thanks.
Yeah, well, I was wondering, I mean, that's exactly what I was talking about. He just drove around that car stack. Why? Hit it.
I think maybe he thought about it and then went away from it. His crew chief could have told him. Jeffson could have said, not yet, not yet. He's picking up a lot of steam.
Again, driving all the way down the front stretch. This is freestyle. Hit something.
He's going back around, so he didn't like his angle for the backflip ram. Now he's got the steam. Now he's got the angle. That's a weird move for Todd LeDuc to avoid it. Didn't like it. Now he's got it. And he goes up, elevation, lands it. Rough landing, but he's not done.
That was a great backflip, though. He made up for the drive around with that backflip. Perfect execution. Now he needs to let it eat. Go out there and just send it.
And there we go. Big sky wheelie off the pod jump.
Nice job, dude. That was sweet. Woo! Thank you.
Watch him come up. Sky wheelie. He's looking straight at blue sky. Has no clue where he's at, but great execution. It was a good run from Todd. I wish he would have just hit a little bit more obstacles in between the run, but he topped it off with that backflip.
Tom Mentz and Max D hitting the track. Started off with a big jump. First one he sees, he lands, he nails, and he is off to the races.
See how much momentum he's carrying? He's putting on a clinic out here, and an experience is showing he can drive in this mud, keep the truck moving forward. Wow, going for it right there.
Tom Mentz has won every competition so far in Atlanta Motor Speedway Racing Skills Event Champion round 17 and freestyle win in round 18. And he's just spinning out on the asphalt, giving the fans a show for sure. He is the ultimate showman, the ultimate professional. And followed it up with a huge air.
Again, Scott, it goes back to experience, man. He absolutely knows how to get these fans' attention to do it. Whoa!
That is the biggest jump off the jammer we've seen, and the nose wheelie. And he almost had the save, but the biggest jump off the jammer ends up on the nose, slided the save, and rolls over. What a move by Tom Mentz. Talk us through the replay, Colt Stevens.
You know, we were all talking about how steep that jammer is, and you can see right there how vertical it sent him. Unfortunately, he just needed a little bit more speed, and he could have landed on the downside and pulled that off. It would have been epic. Awesome run.
So let's talk about here Ryan Anderson, where we see it right now. Bari Musa sitting in first in freestyle, looking for his second freestyle win in 2021. Todd LeDuc is in third. So for Todd LeDuc to win the event championship, Ryan needs to not finish better than fifth place. So anywhere above fifth, and Ryan Anderson will win the event championship. But wouldn't it be amazing to see Ryan win freestyle and get that perfect event that Tom Mentz just missed out on?
Well, the thing about it, we talked about it earlier, is Ryan's known for the technical moves. If he can throw those out there, he could potentially score extremely high.
9.3, tough score to beat. Ryan Anderson can do it. If anybody out here can, it's going to be Ryan. He's got to hope the truck holds up and the track holds up for him.
He's already talking about having transmission issues in this mud slick condition. It's not any easier on that transmission, so hopefully he can make it hold out the whole 2 minutes.
Great transition, swinging it around, didn't miss a step.
Man, that truck is definitely slipping though. Uh-oh. It's heading right towards the backflip lamp. Ooh, he was able to get around it last minute. But look, he is just not lifting wide open.
These transitions he's making from one side to another, the fastest we've seen. There's a wheelie on the downside of the jump right in front of the bus stack, grazes the back right tire.
Just constantly moving forward. Look, he does no care what's in front of him whatsoever.
Unreal.
Golly, that RPM tack is just maxed out. We're capable of 8,100 RPMs. That's revolutions per minute on the motor, and I guarantee you that thing is maxed out right now.
Bicycle in a huge air, man. He is just... At what point does the truck just stop working? What point do you push it?
We're getting close there, Scott. That transmission is probably getting hot. Hot, hot, hot.
Yeah, he has not left that center lane, so he knows that he has limitations here.
Well, the thing is, he knows he can't go very far. He needs to get from one jump to the next, before that thing gives up on him. Love it! Destruction!
That is the first time, Colt, this weekend we've seen anybody just crush that bus.
About time, Scott. We haven't seen cars in forever, and I've been wanting somebody to crush them for a while.
He's going again to the other side.
Yeah, get it, buddy! You know, that's a cool factor right there. Look at him. He is just working so hard.
Yeah, he's trying to turn that bus into nothing right now. That is his goal.
Man, he's smoking. He is just letting her have it, buddy.
So Ryan Anderson, I mean, great run with the limitations he had. Let's take a look at the replay for Bakugan Dragonoid. Is this enough to get it done?
Man, I don't know. That's a hard one. He didn't have the technical moves I was looking for. Hopefully the fans show him a little bit of love.
8.342. That's going to put him in 5th place. Ryan Anderson is going to lose out on the event championship. Here is the Bkt Top 5 in freestyle. Bari Musa, as we said, going to win his 2nd freestyle of the year. Tom Mentz in 2nd, Todd LeDuc in 3rd. Hugely important there. Adam Anderson in 4th, and Ryan Anderson in 5th. After his 2nd freestyle win of the year, Leslie Mears downstairs with Zombies, Bari Musa.
Bari, I think it was really the backflip that put you over the top, but that is kind of a skeptical move here in these conditions. So how were you able to pull it off?
Man, I just had to rely on the traction of those Bkt tires, you know, to be able to continue that momentum that you need to carry through a backflip, because you don't want to come up short, land on your roof. So we had that momentum. It felt good to me. The traction was there. We rotated, we twisted a little bit, but the crowd loved it. I was able to continue on with big air to finish out the freestyle. Man, it feels good to get this win.
Yeah, guys, it was all about the momentum that pushed him to this win.
Thank you, Leslie. So 12 points for Bari Musa. Now we can take a look at our final Bkt overall event leaderboard. A lot of ties here to process. Todd LeDuc, Ryan Anderson tied at 32. The tiebreaker, the freestyle score, that gets Todd the event championship. Tom Mentz, Adam Anderson tied at 27. Tom with the higher score, he finished in 3rd. And then that 3-way pileup with 21 points between Bari Musa, Kristen Anderson, and Bryce Kenny would get Bari that 5th spot. Todd LeDuc comes in clutch, gets enough points to win the championship, his 4th overall of the year. Leslie Mears standing by with the driver of Monster Energy.
You've put in a lot of time this weekend looking at the track, and so I think it's really your preparation that's paired off today. You know, what did you learn early on that helped you get this overall and really push you over the top?
No one's been looking at the track as much as I have. You know, I've been driving around here in the rental car, on my quad, just looking at lines and different choices, man, and it just seems like every show we go, we're getting faster and faster, Leslie, so just unbelievable. This is for all the Monster Energy fans. Atlanta, show number 3, we took the overall. We tied with Ryan, but what sweeter way to steal from him by having a higher freestyle score. So just thanks to Monster Energy. We've been drinking a ton of these to keep up all these all-nighters, and we got one more show to go.
So Ryan Anderson wins 2 competitions, but you can't leave Todd LeDuc hanging around. He had just enough of a window. He's the ultimate opportunist, and you and I have seen this before. Just when you think somebody has won the championship, Todd LeDuc just creeps in. What happened to allow Todd LeDuc to win the championship?
Consistency, Scott. That's what it's all about. I mean, he didn't win everything, but he was right there on the cusp of every event, so he was able to capitalize.
One final incredible round still to come here in Atlanta, and we'll have the action for you right here. For Colt Stevens and Leslie Mears, I'm Scott Jordan. We'll see you next time on Monster Jam.